going to make judgment on me because I'm living with a virus that people call is going to kill you, then that's on you. That's on you. You don't like me because I go around saying I'm living with HIV and AIDS, so now you're like, oh my God, let me stay away from her. I don't want to be around her. I don't want to eat. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. That's up to you. My job, my friends, my families, all of it. If you don't like me and don't want to be around me and my family because I chose to tell people that I'm living with HIV, that's up to you.
So I was in my human development class, and I was, I wanted to become like a preschool teacher or something, like work with kids, but now I have kids, so I don't want to work with kids. And my kids don't listen to me. And so I was sitting there, and this lady came out from the Red Cross. Her name was Susan Sullivan. She's like 6 foot, and she's tall like the Green Giant. And she was sitting there, and I was sitting on that end, and you know what I was thinking to myself? This is what I was thinking. She was up there giving these really great facts, and I'm sitting there thinking in my head, okay, type A personality, productivity, 2 hours. This lady's going to do all these facts about HIV, and you know what? It's never going to affect my life. This only happens to those people. We grew up in Irvine. My parents made money in the 6 digits. After all, I'm Asian, and so that only happens to those kind of people. Because at that time, the media portrayed that HIV only happened to, like, 1, if you were an IV drug user, 2, if you were homosexual, and 3, if you like had all these partners. Jen, you tested HIV positive, and I said, oh shit. And then, no, I didn't say that. I thought it, because we weren't allowed to say that growing up. And so I thought, oh my God, it's really sad. When I look back, I didn't even cry. I didn't even have like emotions because, like, my parents raised us, and we just never allowed to express emotions. So I was just sitting there like, oh, okay, and Timothy's like, he came from a family that was like really, like they all went to AA meetings. So he was like, don't worry, Jen, like all huggy, touchy-feely,
What do I know about HIV and AIDS? I don't want it. And it's bad, and you could die from it, but you could live with it. It all depends on how it is with your body.
I've heard that there's guys on the DL who like to have sex a lot, and with other guys, but they have girlfriends and they have wives, but they don't tell their wives and girlfriends that they're on the DL, like having sex with other guys.
I heard like a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's contagious, it's dangerous. They try to say that black folks started it. I've heard a lot of different things.
I became infected because I was drugged and I was raped by 3 guys, and 2 of the 3 guys had AIDS. And I think about that only now and then, but when I do, it really gets to me, and it makes me not want to continue. And it gets really hard, and that's when I come to my chill spot and I chill. And I start regrouping, and I think about my family, and I think about my kids, and those things keep me going. He's really cool. I really love him a lot. I mean, I couldn't have met anybody more special in my life. I never wanted to be with anybody positive, because I never wanted to watch anybody get sick and die, and I didn't want to have anybody watch me get sick and die.
She's a very good mother, yeah, and she looks after her man. I like that. She's behind me 100%. There's no doubt, no matter what. Really, she's there. I like that, and I can trust her. And number one, I feel like I can trust her. Don't step for me. Especially being in a relationship like we're in, not only, with the being HIV positive and stuff, but, with me being gone all the time. I feel like why would you be with somebody you can't trust? Or are you going to be worried about where they're at all the time? And I can't live like that. That's why, I just...
You never had a relationship.
No, that's right. Exactly.
What is HIV?
Yeah, what is HIV?
Human immunodeficiency virus.
Kind of a wrong ways of sex, difficult sex,
What is it?
Yeah, deadly disease that you don't, that you really don't want to mess with, you want to stay.
HIV first I think it's AZT you have, and then it's HIV, and then it's full-blown AIDS that you get.
He was just like real tense and fighting it and thrashing, and then all of a sudden he got calm and peaceful. And then I've seen people just walk from here to that door, go into the restroom, and not come out. They're dead. Yeah. AIDS is that's what AIDS is. It's different for each one of us. There's no one that can sit down and say, this is what AIDS does to people. It does something different to each person. Is it time? Oh, it looks like it's time. You guys don't mind if we shoot a little film in here while we're eating? No. Okay. I told him my family was going to eat, so. The last place I lived, they used to bring tours around. Japanese students come through the house.
That's scary.
Yeah, and they all look like they were 10. You know, they're real young Japanese girls studying nursing. It was really great. We feel like you're in a fishbowl, you know. It was weird. You know, if you would ask me 3 years ago if I'd be perfectly comfortable living in a house with mostly gay people, I would have said no, I couldn't do that. But I have no problem with it. You know, it's we're all here because we're ill, and we have mutual respect for each other. I respect these people, and they respect me.
Just can't keep on.
You could call me a player. I was a musician, a sex, drugs, and rock and roll guy. A real sort of a promiscuous fellow. I sex with a different partner almost every night. You know, when you go play music, it's just, you get a reputation, and young ladies come out and want to party. And when I was doing it big time was during the sexual revolution, I call it. It was like when women were turning on to their freedom and their, might you say, orgasmic pleasures. I was the rock and roll guy who got everything you wanted. And I ended up with everything I didn't want. But that's cool. It's cool. I've known I've had it for 3 years. I probably actually carried this disease for 10 years before that. That's what they tell me. You know, you never know. Yeah. It's a blessing and it's a curse. The blessing is that I've probably found myself to be a much nicer person now than before I was diagnosed. And the downside is that, you know, you're sick. And I'm sick quite a bit.
Okay, guys, see you next time.
All right, here's your receipt.
Bye. I play for a living.
It's not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing. When I came out of shock about this, I came out with the attitude, fuck it, I'm going to have fun with whatever time I have left, you know. I'm not going to sit around and be depressed and miserable. That's just a waste of energy. I might as well commit suicide. Born in Manchester, New Hampshire, in a very white Anglo-Saxon Protestant middle-class family with their New England morals, etc. So I'm pretty ordinary. I was with a guy that was a bodyguard for the movie stars. We were living together for 2 years. So there wasn't any IV drugs, there wasn't any screwing around, wasn't any of that crazy stuff. I worked a job, got all the correct credit cards, everything. So, you know, pretty boring, ordinary life. I even asked him, had he been HIV tested? And I guess he lied because he said yes, and he was negative, no problem. So I wanted to believe him, and we didn't use protection, and here I am.
Greatest risk? Drag addicts?
It's very unfair that being gay means being HIV/AIDS.
Gay males, I guess, having anal sex.
Girls. I think girls. Boys. I gotta agree with that.
I think
boys, huh?
It's equal.
Boys.
Guys and girls both get it.
Guys.
How come guys get it more?
Because they're hoes.
I was very promiscuous as a young man, so I was tested, and then 5 years later I was tested, and I'll probably get tested again.
With gay men.
It's growing between 18 and 25-year-old in the black community?
I think uninformed women, probably.
Highest risk group is
Mostly females from ages 15 to 24.
I want to say
Blacks and Hispanics.
I'm from New York City, and everybody in New York City is sleeping. It's everywhere.
Elderly people whose spouses have died and now they're having sex again and they think they're immune. I bet you they will. I bet it's climbing. I bet it is.
Yeah,
and
right,
I would
Grandma.
you bet Grandma likes her nookie too. Wait till you're an old. Don't be laughing. Me and you both got gray hairs.
We're seeing a very disturbing trend, and we're seeing people in older age groups who should sort of quote unquote know better, people who've been through the epidemic, they know about safer sex. We're seeing them also just give up on safe sex and just start having unprotected sex, probably because they don't see HIV as a fatal disease like it used to be.
Nationwide, we're seeing women of color, African Americans and Latinas. I mean, that's who's getting infected. And you know, clinics that used to only see primarily men who have sex with men are now seeing, you know, 1/3 to 40% of their clientele is women.
Many of the women who I will see here the guy who infected them is the only guy they were with that period of time. What I find tragic is if you could go back in time to the point when he infected her, he knew he was positive then. So it's not that he was unaware of his being positive. He knew, he suspected. He still did not use a condom.
I have a little confession to make. I didn't tell him that I was positive when I first married him. I made sure we used protection, but I didn't tell him, you know, what he was getting himself into. But when I did tell him, it was at a point where, we were going through some ups and downs, and I'm like, I'm ready to get out of this. And I know how I'm gonna end it too. I'm gonna tell him about my sickness and stuff, you know. So I went and told him. And he said, oh, wow. Did you get that? He's on the wrong side of the street too. Check my heartbeat. That's a good heart starter. We had been married about 6 months, and then I told him about my being ill. And his reaction was totally opposite of what I thought. I'm like, he's gonna wipe his hands and be ready to go. And he hung in there even tighter.
So did you ever tell anybody?
It was no disclosure unless I felt it was going to be serious.
So you really never told anybody?
Because I did use condoms and stuff. I mean,
I
never
know.
did. Yeah, so
I know. When I met you, you had a million.
But even then, they say that's not. You still need to tell.
People that are in denial scare me worse than the people that know, because I'll tell you, there isn't a night here that I can go out and meet a young lady and take them, have sex with them.
I've even gotten people telling me I'm lying. You're lying. There's no way you could be positive. You don't look like you're HIV. I get a lot of the high school boys trying to hit on me before they realize that I'm positive. And then they're like, and I'm like, well, why are you acting like that? You know, if I would have not told you, you would have not known.
I need quarters. My landlord, they don't know I'm positive. We kick back and we hang out and we talk, and then one day they had 2 cups of coffee and they're like, oh, it doesn't matter which cup you take. I don't have AIDS. And right there, hit me like, God, you know what I mean? I was like, I gotta go, bye, you know?
Do I disclose? No, but if I want to talk about it, I talk about it. And if anybody's listening, they'll figure it out for themselves. I don't go,
I think it's something that needs to be told.
Disclosure should be at a time that you feel that you are ready to disclose. It shouldn't be forced on you.
Okay,
That's what I'm talking
did
about.
I force it on
No,
you?
I'm not saying, we're just talking about disclosure, period. Disclosure is a personal choice.
Yes, it is.
And a person has to be ready for it. It's not like everybody just ain't, ready.
He's like, had an issue looking in my eye. You can't look in my, and that hurt me. So, ever since then, I go to the dentist. I don't tell Western Dental that I have HIV, because it's not fair to me that you're, pulling out a tooth and you're tense and I'm gonna be in pain because of your ignorance. Because they have that whatever precaution. They do the x-rays, they wear that funky hat, Yeah. So, no, so I'm not gonna disclose if it's gonna hurt me. As long as I'm not risking you. Even disclosure around here. I don't want Christopher's friends, parents to know, because what if they're like, oh, his kids can't come to the house. because his mommy has AIDS or she's sick. So no, I don't just just disclose like to everybody.
I was really deathly sick when I first came there, so I didn't really, everything went on around me and I just sort of like saw it happening, and I saw everybody was gay. Even the staff was mostly gay. And that was like, is this how I'm going to end my life? You know, I mean, if you haven't been in the gay scene, now I can understand where they're coming from, but at the time, it was like I'm thrown into this weird situation. I mean, am I never going to be with a woman again? Am I, that was just, that it was only, I only had that for a short time, but all the people that, and I must admit, when I first saw that, I says, oh man, these guys are going to be after me all the time, and it's going to be a whole hassle, but it never was. Really never was.
They're accepting of you.
Yeah, yeah. And nobody asked me, other than the counselors and my psychiatrists and all the people that I work with, they all asked me about my sexuality, but the gay people just, knew I wasn't looking at their butt. There you go. There's Henry.
There's Henry. Yeah.
All right, man.
Want me to dish it up for you?
I was glad that you got to film Henry. Is like, he's on his way out. And we've been really bonding with Henry and, feeling the love in this house for that guy. I mean, I feel like Henry's my brother. And he's on his way out. He knows it. We all know it. And we're just, I spend as much time playing music for him as I can. And I get choked up talking about it.
Being an African American woman, I can only speak from the African American side. We have a lot of pride. We do not want to carry this stigma with us.
The worst in terms of what we're seeing in the black community, men who know they're positive still having sex with women. And unfortunately, often, if he even does, so I'm going to put a condom on, I'm going to use a condom, too often the woman will say, what's wrong with you? I want to feel my man. No, you got some diseases? As soon as she says anything like that, no, baby, I'm taking it off. He's not going to try anymore.
Negotiating safe sex in the Latino community is totally a foreign approach. If you see a Latino woman with a baby in their arms and you pass it the brochure or the condom, they say, oh, I don't need that, I'm married. Thinking that the marriage is kind of a vaccine against HIV.
Asians, the biggest stigma about the disease is you're dirty. It's dirty, like you're tainted, like what'd you do?
This is the first time I've spoken in a Filipino community because I don't want my own people to know I'm infected because I don't want them to judge me and turn me down and look down at me because I have the disease. But I do have the disease, I can't take it away. My daughter who's living with me, she's 11, she knows of my status. I have a son who is 26 years old that doesn't know I'm infected. He's in the Air Force. I haven't told him. I started going to the Yahoo HIV chat room back in '95. It's not the same anymore. It used to be strictly, information. We would talk about the disease. We were open about the side effects we were going through. We would ask each other, are you on such and such? Do you have these side effects? Because people come in and act like they got HIV, and then after they get all our sympathy, then they start saying, you fucking faggots, you crackheads, you got what you deserve, good, we're glad you're gonna die.
How often does that happen? How often? I mean,
Every single day, 20 or 30 times a day. I went in there this morning for 10 minutes, and there was 3 of them that came in. 1, 2, 3.
great admirer of what ACT UP did, particularly in their earliest years, to really jar the public into recognition that this is indeed a public health emergency.
From the beginning of the epidemic, it was portrayed as a gay disease in the beginning, and once that message gets into people's minds, I mean, and of course certain religious groups took that and ran with it.
When they have an AIDS walk, we're there and we publicly preach the reason why you have this disease is because of your sodomy.
They think HIV is not the cause of AIDS, and they think they've got the answer.
You want to stop AIDS, stop your sodomy.
It's the curse. It's God's curse on those people because they've sinned.
Do you know, it's funny how come these Bible thumpers, they all saying how God's punishing us for being gays or whores or drug addicts. I said, how come they never read the section that says, judge not lest you be judged?
I don't tell the people in my church.
One of the major fallacies about HIV transmission is that it only happens to certain people. You have to be alive, you have to have sex, or use needles. Those are the groups who get HIV.
I'm walking because it's been 15 years I've been living with this disease. 15 years.
Actually, I've thought about getting tested, but I'm not sexually active, and I'm not sure if I could have caught it some other way.
No, I don't believe in sex before marriage, so there's no need for me right now. But I mean, I guess when that time comes, and yeah, you do need to be tested and have your partner tested.
I'm terrified of sex.
I asked health status way before shit even popped.
We've been together for quite a few years and we're married, so that takes some ease off of it.
I'm not saying I can't get it. I'm just saying I know I won't.
I would never have sex with them without both going and getting blood tested.
I'm 32 and she's 18, so.
Okay.
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 There ain't no HIV or nothing there.
I'm Greg. I'm 23 years old, be 24 in August, and this is the first time I've come down to get AIDS tested.
I'm Dawn, I'm 24, and this is the first time for me too.
We've been seeing each other for about 2.5, almost 3.
You like to stay sex?
We have.
The spot's supposed to be a non-clinical environment. Our rates of other sexually transmitted diseases are clearly showing us that people are still having unprotected sex. Regardless of, what their sexual orientation is, there's a lot of unprotected sex still going on out there.
I really have nothing to be scared of because I've been pretty careful. I've been careful, I'm not slack.
Some people are very stressed out about testing, so it's supposed to be a non-stressing, kind of more, less stressful environment for testing.
Am I afraid of getting AIDS? Well, it's kind of like one of those things that there's really no way of not getting it. It's not as scary as it used to be, where if you contract HIV, you're definitely gonna die.
Well, I just can take medication and I'll be fine. Or it's not gonna happen to me. I'm just a super person and I'm not gonna get that. I only sleep with clean people or people who are hot, and those type of people don't get this. Sometimes we go to college campuses and they can recite the HIV information to you, but are they practicing this? Are they using condoms? No.
Nervous? No, not really. I've only had intercourse with 2 different women. So.
All the relationships in my life just kind of rushed in my head.
Looking back, across that great sea of time, did I do anything that I would regret?
They both tell me they were virgins, so hopefully they didn't lie to me. So,
Most of our off-site testing pretty much is done orally. One, you don't have to worry about biohazards like you would with needle and blood. It's a swab inserted into the mouth. You want to rub it usually between your cheek and gum, kind of like a toothbrush. You let it sit there like you would maybe a lollipop for a couple of minutes, and then that's it. I'm done.
I feel okay.
You want to know now?
Oh, I'm not worried about the results really. Like I'm thinking about some other stuff.
What other stuff?
He put a lollipop in my mouth for 5 minutes. We had a nice conversation about Argentina. I signed a few papers, and that's it.
Just a little aftertaste, like a little bitter after. But,
I've never had anyone ask me about my sexual styles or
Who have you slept with? Were you protected? All that stuff.
how many sexual partners I've been in the last 2 years.
if protection was used.
And I've only been with the same ones, so, I think I would have, probably got some symptoms by now, right? You think? No?
One person could be clean and the other not. It's kind of like you have to go together to keep it that way. If you have to think twice about what you did, then you know you shouldn't have been doing it. So.
She was a virgin before I met her, hopefully.
If you have other STDs, it just makes it easier for you to get HIV, because there's a lot of stuff out there you don't want. And HIV just happens to be, one of the ones you really don't want if you can avoid it.
I believe it really was created, oh God, I hope I don't get reported. This virus was created in a lab.
Like 2 gay monkeys or something like that.
Didn't it come from Africa?
It's real prone to Africans.
This white guy came, he was doing a world trip, and then he was
Well, the story about a guy doing a monkey and then the steward doing everyone else on the airline.
He was like bisexual, and he spread the disease. He was like trying to get someone back.
I've heard rumors that it had started in Africa.
They would do anything impossible to try to get rid of black people. They will, tell the truth. And this ain't no lie either. That's how cold Whitey is. That's really cold.
My opinion? Well, I heard some off-the-wall theory, this crazy scientists were gonna kill off black people and Mexican people and gay people and made this crazy disease that's like smallpox, but a little bit more unstoppable.
Came on the scene awful suddenly, seemingly, 20 years ago, which I've always thought was kind of weird.
HIV, I think that they pretty well established where it started. It probably started in primates. It started probably in chimpanzees, and it probably came from chimpanzees somewhere in Africa, and jumped to humans from people eating monkey meat, essentially, from people, hunters in the jungle who always ate monkey meat, eating monkey meat, and then, transferring what used to be called, or still is called, simian immunodeficiency virus, SIV, and then having it mutate into humans into what we now know as HIV.
The Congressional Black Caucus, I think, should have had a hearing a long time ago to look at where did HIV come from, because you all kept saying come from Africa, and there are too many inconsistent things about that. But we've never done that. The NMA should have done something a long, long time ago. We've never done that. Many of us have tried, but it hasn't been done. We did not do what we should have done as leaders in our community.
And they think that HIV isn't a recent development. They think that it probably goes back to the 1920s and 1930s back in Africa, and that it made its way slowly through the population as air travel and the world kind of, opened up for people to travel and move around. That's where it made its way out of the jungles of Africa and into the general population.
As I said before, I think if someone said it came from China, someone said it came from Israel, I can guarantee you those communities would have come up and said, wait a minute, we are gonna look and see first. We're not gonna just take your word of wisdom. We didn't do that.
That's ugly business there. To be honest with you, I believe that there were grants given out by our government, which you can go look up with the Freedom of Information Act, And you can go look it up yourself. Ain't no conspiracy about it.
The Strecker Memorandum.
Yeah, the Strecker Memorandum. Yeah. That was good reading. That was good reading. Online. That was pretty good reading.
You can believe primates, you can believe man, or you could believe God or whatever, but this disease is designed to kill whatever it runs in.
I don't think HIV was created in the laboratory. I think that that's pretty unlikely, and that it evolved like all infectious agents do naturally through the process of evolution.
She said, "You want to use a condom?" She said, "I don't care whether you do or don't, because I probably have the virus." I says, "Oh, wow. No, I don't think I will." And then, you know, I just happened to give me some head, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't, you know, 15 minutes went by. You're going to have to give me a little more money. You know, and I was just too paranoid. I thought, oh my God, what if she don't have AIDS? You know, what if she's just a crazy person? And, you know, yeah, so, you know, I didn't get off. I gave her the money and said, thanks a lot.
Worst thing that I have dealt with is some guy telling me that if I'm not infected, they would really go for me as if like I have a leper or something, that they cannot touch me because of this disease. I felt really bad. I didn't know much about this disease, and I felt really bad about being infected. I felt that I deserved to be infected because of what I did. I felt that I am not worthy of anybody, of anything.
When you have the disease, you lose your sexuality, and I think all of us live our life on the deepest part of our being. We're sexual human beings, and AIDS takes that away. And the fear of that with people that aren't infected is great.
Truthfully, I couldn't date nobody with HIV.
If I was in love, yeah.
The fear has totally left my mind.
I would get out of there fast. I think it would change my relationship a lot, because if I'm gonna marry somebody, I want to have that, you know, like a sexual relationship, and I can't have that with somebody who has AIDS.
We didn't like each other.
Yeah, when we first met, I couldn't stand Harry.
I always knew that she was, you know, HIV positive, but it didn't change anything. I've always seen her as Jennifer, and even today I see her the same way. She has a good heart. She does. I don't want her head get all big and stuff.
All right, that pin ready.
Harry's dirty socks. My husband never picks up his clothes. Not never. Harry just allows me to be me. I told Harry yesterday, he's like, what do you want in a relationship? I just want to be me. And he's like, well, I want to be me too. I'm like, well, I don't want you to be you. I just want to be me, you know?
I love my wife. Her name's Jennifer, and that's it. You know, I don't really see the disease. In reality, it is there, and I understand that. That's good enough.
But
My job is to keep her okay.
Right. I think that's where the challenge is.
That's it.
For me, like, is because I have it and he doesn't, it's so much more real to me.
That's lunch money.
Oh, $69 for lunch?
20, 40, 60. It's $1.50 for service charge. So 20, 40, 60, yes.
2 days.
Get used to it. That's life. If I was to make you do something, you wouldn't want me to do that.
You always do.
Well, I have to.
See? Exactly.
I don't have to do this.
Because of what? You are my father, right? All right.
Okay. Don't listen. I'm not. Watch this. Say something, Crystal. See, I hear words.
So that's why you laughing? That's why you laughing?
All right. All right, to love and happiness.
But you know, I was like, and they were like $42. I'll go back and get them like a week later. Gone.
Ain't that Marvin Gaye?
I was like, oh. And they had
Man.
styles. I like, they were all gone. Artists don't work.
Interact with the Not to my knowledge.
What's that?
Drinking.
Does it interact with what?
My medication.
Oh. I wouldn't know.
You're not a member.
Still not.
I wouldn't know. My numbers haven't changed.
So this is, this is the evolution of antiviral therapy, where the first cases of AIDS were reported in 1981. As I said before, not until 87 did we get AZT. In 91 we got DDI, but those didn't work. And then it wasn't until 1996 that we got highly active antiviral therapy and protease inhibitors. We thought we were doing pretty well, but in 1999 we started seeing lipodystrophy, some problems with the medicines.
No matter how many pills I pop, or, you know what I mean, or how much, Ensures I drink, there's just some parts of this disease that I don't have control over. And I have to accept that. And sometimes I do accept that and I feel okay, but sometimes it's a battle for me. Like I don't want to be sick, and I don't want to be, I want to be normal, Sometimes I don't feel normal. Like, I want to be able to just, get through a day and know, my energy level, and know that I'm going to make it through.
The virus, unfortunately, is very, very tricky, and it weaves itself inside a person's DNA, inside a person's genes, so that you can't get it out. It's in there permanently, and we have no medication, at least currently, that will remove HIV from a person's body. So all we can do once it's inside is control it.
All you have is love. When their nose kiss. Cute, huh? Come on. Valentine.
That's cute.
All right, hon, I'm getting ready to head out. I'm going to write directions for Nadia. My T cells are, they're pretty low. They're 260. Physically, for me, like I said, some days are good and some days aren't. In the morning, I wake up, I try to do everything in the morning, because that's my peak, get my laundry, get everything. Yeah. Harry comes home from lunch and says, "Why is dinner cooked?"
I'm feeling better now, and I'm feeling good enough to myself to where I'm like, I want to come off these medications, but also I'm going to go on something else that I was on before.
There's no rhyme or reason as to why one person will progress very quickly to AIDS after they get infected, and another person can have the virus in their system for many years and it doesn't seem to cause much damage. Some people genetically can control the virus on their own. There's a lot of reasons, most of which we don't understand.
Janisha!
None. None. Haven't had any. I've had some neuropathy. Other than that, haven't had anything. I mean, and when my neuropathy hit, those are those days where I just want to lay down, because it's like, gosh, my legs are ready to just give out on me, And like the lady I work with, she's a nurse. She said you can relate that to anything. It doesn't have to be HIV.
6 there. And then these ones are dinner. These are morning. One thing that you all have to do is know all your meds and know everything you're taking and know when you're taking. I don't do that.
You know, what do you mean you don't?
I mean, I just I get the cassettes and I take them. I couldn't tell you all the pills that are in there. I have a list. If I need to go, if I need to change something, or if someone wants to know them, I just get the list out.
How many?
Keep me alive. 2, 4, 6.
Some people
8.
will have to take, 20, 30 pills a day, and some people will get away with taking 3 pills a day. It just depends on the person and how resistant they are to other medicines and which medicines they can tolerate. But the sort of good news is that the pharmaceutical companies are developing simpler, more compact regimens where we can take fewer and fewer pills of these medicines a day.
What if I had this option to live 3 years and have a good, not be sick, or live 5 years and be sick? Because, with the meds is catch-22. Your blood work gets better, but you feel like crap, okay?
And I am the only person that anybody at any ASOs that I belong to, they have ever heard of, that didn't spend the first 8 weeks on that combination with my head in the toilet. I would smoke some pot, I would eat a little food, I would take the ritonavir. I would eat a little more food, I would smoke some more pot, I would wait 20 minutes. I would eat a little food, take the Sequinavir, eat a little food, smoke some pot, and I would lay down. I had nauseous for the first 2 weeks only afterwards. I mean nauseous where I had to lay down. But I never vomited. It only lasted 2 weeks. It didn't incapacitate me. It only lasted for like an hour or so. And then I could get up and go on. But I was able to take it, and I swear it's because of the pot. Because as allergic and sensitive as I am to everything, I should have been sick like everybody else is, at least.
So y'all don't think about us getting sick, but y'all think about it as we pass.
Yeah. Well, I can deal with you guys getting sick because, like, we can...
She hated her medicine, and I think that on this last bout of ill sickness, she had gotten off the medicine.
Yes, she had.
She resented the medicine. But then, as a little girl, I remember the time she came to Mississippi, and she told me she wanted me to take her to Sesame Street. I said, Erica, Sesame Street is not here. She said, but oh, yes, it is. I want to go to Sesame Street, and I want to see Big Bird.
For the one you meet may be your future. His parents, their anger, I will understand. He too should be responsible for himself, as I wish you had been responsible too. Who is the woman with AIDS? She is your sister, your friend, your wife, your niece, your aunt. Most think she is a stranger, that she really does not exist in this world, just like I did, until I became the woman with AIDS.
You read a lot of Erica's writing? Do you read a lot?
We used to. We were going to actually, we were at one point where had a project we were doing. We were going to start doing it at this club, but we never really got it together. Mm-hmm. But,
And then when they got her to the hospital and they started doing all these tests on her, they noticed that she was bleeding from the brain, and that's what killed her. So the medicine had done, maybe it wasn't the medicine, maybe it was just that the medicine had done something, had started breaking her system down.
Yeah, but she was always a healthy person.
Yeah.
What I tell people is, you're not going to get better with it until you disclose it to everyone.
It's acceptance.
Until you accept that this disease coexists with you.
We all have our imperfections, but the soul shines through with a light so fair. And we walk around without much protection, so handle with care.
Of course, I don't like thinking about the death part of it. It gets pretty depressing. I do have my will. I've done my will already. That was a hard thing for me because the questions that they ask you make you really, really think. Because it's putting HIV right here. Really right there, and it's like, okay, you're right here in front of my face now. I have to deal with these questions. He wants a party showing everybody how well he lived. I'm totally the opposite. I want to be cremated, and I want mine to be pretty quiet. I don't want a whole bunch of people around.
You know, it's like, okay, fine, I want to die one of these days, unpleasantly. Not a nice, quiet heart attack, close my eyes, die like my mother. It's going to be, you know, prolonged, OIs, some kind of bullshit, tubes and ports hanging out of me and all that other crap. Okay. Meanwhile, where's my rollerblades?
All right, it's party time.
I've
been scared. I've been scared of dying. You know, I've been to the hospital a couple of times since my first near-death experience, and I'm scared. You know, at the last minute, I want to live. I don't want to go check out. You know, I got I got to see my grandkids grow up.
So handle with care.
My grandkids are going to know me from what I'm leaving them. I'm leaving them music, and I'm leaving them pictures, and my legacy is my music.
that you blessed me with my mom, Lord. I just thank you for my mother, Lord, and I just help us to celebrate her birthday every day, Lord, and to acknowledge her every day, Lord, and just to pray for her health, Lord, that you would heal her of any sickness. I can't live until I embrace death. That is a part of this disease, you know what I mean? And I tell him, I sit there and say, you know, the thing that bothers me the most about this disease is, you know, hon, right now I'm not that sick, but what about when you have to feed me and change me? That's gonna be like, I'm a proud person. You know, I want no one changing me, you know? That's very humbling, but I said, there will come a time, and I have to, I don't want to stay on that part, but I have to be in touch with that because I don't want to just wake up one day and fight my disease in the sense, like, fight the deterioration process, because it is a reality. I'm the favorite.
Go over there, Lily. I don't know what's up.
You think you're all that.
And bring me my jewelry, please.
I know me, when I first became positive, that was one of my things, like, am I going to live to see my kids graduate from high school? Every time it's like, here we go, we did it again, so.
Mama,
Okay, I'm ready.
She cries about everything. I mean, what is it, boy? Why are you crying? Yeah. I'm losing my kids. They're leaving. I said that. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. They're supposed to go. I mean, really. And they only go and come back with others. Multiples of them. Just,
It's your mindset. You have to know that you can overcome this. You're gonna live with this. It's going nowhere.
Yeah.
But take it, put it in your back pocket, and keep living. Just keep on going. Because I mean, my life had came to a halt. Just a halt, I guess, for about maybe a year and a half. And I just felt like
you get in a rut.
Yeah.
You allow yourself to get in a rut, and you can't. It's hard to get out.
Yeah.
Unless somebody comes and pulls you out.
It was really hard to get out.
I mean, unless you have somebody would have to actually pull you out, because you get so far in that you can't get out yourself.
And really, for me, I'm so happy in this relationship. I feel like my life is really just beginning. I've been positive 6 years, and it's like those other 5 years, what was I doing? Stressing about. That's why I'm so knowledgeable in HIV, because I was really into it, really wanting to do it, really doing this. And now I'm more laid back, I'm more relaxed. I have a love in my life that loves me for me, and you know, can't love me because I'm HIV positive.
No, that's not a plus.
You love me pretty baby when I rock and roll. I love you pretty baby down to your soul. We're damaged good. Damaged good. They can throw us in the trash, but we're just damaged good. And so on. And then I had another one as a
She gives sustenance and hope to the living, so handle with care. We should feel so lucky